3 little sweets for writing a historical romance guide that's what I'm sharing today. 3 small, delicate additions that can turn a practical manual into a living, breathing map of desire, duty, and destiny. If you're braiding worlds of corsets and clockwork. If your readers crave the scent of rain on cobblestones and the quiet courage of 2 hearts learning to trust again. These are the 3 treats you'll want in your pocket. The first sweet is memory, not nostalgia that glides over pain, but memory that teaches you to listen to history the way a person listens to a beloved voice across a crowded room. In a historical romance, memory is a language. It invites your readers to step back in time and feel the texture of a moment, the rough weave of a shawl, the grain of a wooden desk, the way a governess's handwriting tilts as she signs a letter. For the guide, think of memory as a palette. You don't just name the era, you evoke its colors, its taste, its breath. I think of Mira, a young writer who lives in a seaside town where fog slips in like a soft thief and coastal winds carry the salt of old shipyards. She's drafting her guide when a box arrives. A stack of letters tied with white ribbon, written years ago by a couple who never met in the same century, yet who found a way to speak across time. The first sweet lesson from these letters is to describe scenes as if you were tasting them. The page should carry the zest of lemon tucked into a stubborn crust, the sweetness of figs softened by rain, the sharp edge of ice in a glass of claret consumed while the harbor lights flicker. The more precise your sensory map, the more your readers will believe that love could exist here, now, in this century or the next. The rain starts, fine at first, then warmer, like a memory returning to the skin. Mira's pen works faster, guided by the letter's cadence. And she realizes that the best historical romance guide isn't a dry catalog of dates. It's a living tour through senses. So the first suite asks us to weave memory into every scene. The dented teacup that carries a grandmother's handwriting. The iron gate that sings when it's opened after a long winter. The line of a poem tucked into a pocket. When you write, you don't just tell readers what happened. You invite them to feel the moment as if they could reach out and touch the fabric, smell the ink, hear the clock tick in a drafty manuscript room. The memory suite also becomes a gift to your characters. Let them surprise you by remembering something from long ago that changes the way they move in the present. A wallflower can find a voice when she remembers a line spoken in a ballroom years before. A skeptic can soften when a letter's memory unseals a buried ache. Your guide can encourage writers to let memory bloom in dialogue, in gestures, in tiny rituals, the way a cup of tea is poured, the way a scarf is adjusted in a doorway, the way a servant notices a shared joke between lovers who cannot quite confess it aloud. The second suite invites us into the pace of romance, the slow, deliberate tempo that makes a kiss feel earned rather than expected. In historicals, time moves differently. It isn't a straight line from I like you to I love you, it curls and returns. It pauses for the inconvenience of propriety. It rehearses a confession until it has grown worthy of being spoken aloud. This suite is about slow bloom, trust the patience to let attraction simmer while characters meet obstacles and decide to keep showing up. Picture a ballroom with chandeliers trembling like stars. The hero and heroine don't rush to the edge of the dance floor, they circle it, slow as a tide, learning to read in each other's eyes the tiny signals that say stay, go, or wait. Your guide should teach writers how to script those subtle shifts. A shared smile over a pile of ledgers. A hand lingering on the back of a chair. A gaze that lingers before it finally moves. Romance in history thrives on restraint that weighs with meaning. Not restraint for restraint's sake. The readers feel the pressure of what's unsaid, the fear of social consequence, the lure of quiet rebellion. The courage to risk everything for a moment of truth. The second suite also means giving room for delay in the plot. A letter mailed from a distant port can take weeks, and in those weeks, the lovers can grow in imagination as well as in circumstance. A writer's guide should celebrate the art of anticipation. The reader can taste the longing, savor the almost kiss, and wait, with aching tenderness, for the scene to land with a soft, inevitable effect. The third suite is hope, the suite that allows the romance to endure after the characters have faced the world and decided to stay. In historical romance, endings must feel earned by the work of the heart, not just by the plot's convenience. Hope is what carries readers from the sigh of relief at the last kiss to the quiet certainty that love can endure in ordinary days after the grandeur has faded. The hope suite can be seeded through ordinary acts that prove love is practical as well as poetic. It might be the heroine choosing to resume her school for girls, despite gossip and cost, because she believes in the future she's building with someone who respects her vision. It might be the couple agreeing to shelter a child who has nothing but a name to claim. It could be a shared morning routine, where the lovers, once parted by circumstance, learn to wake each day with honesty and a willingness to be seen. In Mira's guide, the hope suite is not a promise that life will become flawless. It's a promise that love can grow stronger through effort. The pages of the guide invite writers to imagine what a committed partnership looks like when the world is unkind, when duty pulls at them from every angle, when rumor travels faster than truth. Hope is the thread that makes a historical romance feel possible for readers who carry and unspoken dreams inside them. Now, let me tell you a story that crystallizes these three suites. A woman in a long train of a dress stands by a carriage, watching a man raise a hand to help her step down. The city smells of iron and rain. They have agreed to walk a mile together, not to hurry toward an ending, but to discover a beginning that fits their hearts. They speak of nothing grand, how a letter written at a kitchen table can outrun a storm. And when they finally look at each other, the kiss feels less like a spark and more like a homecoming, soft and earned by dozens of small, careful acts. So here is the essence of the best three suites for writing a historical romance. Memory that makes you hear the era in your bones. Slow bloom romance that respects time and consequence. Enduring love that looks beyond headlines to the quiet daily miracle of choosing each other again and again. If you weave these three into your chapters, your readers will feel the past lean toward them with a gentle, knowing embrace. If you're crafting your outline or your final manuscript, try this simple exercise. Pick a scene you're nervous about, perhaps a first meeting that must carry both wit and write it twice, once with a quick, urgent tempo, and once with, then blend the two, letting the memory of one flavor season the other. Watch how your characters begin to breathe in a more human, how the world around them seems richer and more plausible, how the reader's heart travels from curiosity to, as you close your notebook tonight. Remember that romance, especially historical romance, is a conversation with time. You're not just telling a love story. You're inviting readers to step into a world where love is possible because someone decided to. The best three suites will not shout or shout down history. They will remind us that love is a practice, a craft, and a kind of rescue. Thank you for listening and for letting this little guide be a companion own voyage toward a romance that may your pages glow with memory, patience, and the stubborn can arrive exactly when it's needed most. And now,